Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another community call. I hope you guys have been feeling the energy, man. The energy has been so high. Boss is cooking right now. Boss is cooking right now. And I've been working on something for you guys for the last couple of months, and I am going to announce that later today. So I'm super, super excited for you guys to see that. Super excited for you guys to start applying for that. Hint, hint. So super exciting times, my friends. Again, everything that we do is always a token of our appreciation for you guys. Everything that you guys do, you guys are the absolute backbone of everything that we do. You guys are the backbone of this project. We appreciate you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your loyalty. We appreciate you guys tenfold. So today we're just going to cover some like recent updates, things that we've announced. We're going to talk about obviously the pre-sale coming to an end, and then as always we're going to dive into your community questions. And then from there we will also just cover some of like the latest like community events and such that's taking place. With that, my friends, I just want to make sure that I have everybody's attention right now. Do I have everybody's attention? I need to see those reactions. Everybody start throwing up those hearts. Start throwing up those sad faces, the thumbs up, everything. I need to make sure I got everybody's attention right now. I see them coming through. Yago's throwing up some thumbs up. I'm seeing some hearts. Hyde's throwing up some thumbs up. Let's go. Jason with the hearts. Lord with the hearts. Let's go, guys. If you guys throw out these hearts, you guys will be entered to win 200 engage points today, my friends. Let's go. I'm seeing all the hearts. All the hearts are coming through. We love to see it. We love to see it. Good job, my friends. Good work. Good work. Awesome. Cool. Well, with that, my friends, thank you so much for all the hearts in the chat. We love to see it. With that, we are welcoming Yago to the speaker panel. Welcome, Yago. So good to have you. How are you feeling today, my friend?
Thank God it's Friday. It's been
I
an
swear to God.
intense week, but good. I think everyone's in very high spirits.
Indeed, indeed. It has also just been an extremely intense week on my end too, but we're all happy. We're here. Everything is in good spirits, like you said. So I guess let's dive into the pre-sale. Obviously, like the pre-sale finally came to an end. Is there any information that you'd like to share about it to the community?
Yes, so the pre-sale I think was a huge success. The pre-sale was run on the Origins platform, which was developed by one of the projects building on BOS, which is Sovereign. Origins platform is a new platform designed to provide one of the important components of any new ecosystem, which is a launchpad. And one of the cool things about the way that they built the Origins launchpad is it gives a feel for what the UI or user experience when using BOS is expected to be. It was seamless to move assets in and be able to make participate in the pre-sale with multiple different assets from multiple different chains. And I think what users reported was that they thought the experience was super smooth. They loved it. In fact, we were kind of overwhelmed. And Sovereign in particular sort of reported to us the feedback that they were getting was overwhelmingly positive. And the experience sort of combines the best elements of a decentralized experience with a centralized experience. So, it's been much easier to use, let's say a SEX than a DEX. You can, you just get a deposit address. You can send your funds in from any wallet, from any chain, and that was the experience. As a pilot run for what BOS could potentially be, I think it was extremely successful. And also in terms of the results, a very large number of participants, numbering in the thousands, with over $5 million or the equivalent thereof in BTC raised at the prices it was raised at. So actually, in practice, because some of there's constant fluctuation in prices, but I suppose for good or bad, the price of BTC has been relatively stable over the last 7 months. So that's a pretty accurate number in terms of how much was raised. So great experience, a demonstration of projects building on BOS, many participants and significant funds raised. And now, as the last part of good news from this, I suppose, we have closed the pre-sale because TGE and project launch are getting very close.
Amazing, Yago. Thanks so much for covering that. And yeah, I definitely agree with you regarding the Sovereign Origins Launchpad. The feedback that we got from the community was pretty amazing towards it. They said that it was extremely intuitive, super seamless process, amazing UI, and that it was a lot easier for them to participate on the Sovereign Origins Launchpad in comparison to other launchpads that they participated in. So that was awesome feedback from the community, of course. And yeah, I think in terms of, you guys know that we had allocated about 5% of the total supply towards basically the pre-sale. And you guys know that at the end of stage 11, we had obviously raised 4.1 mil, and that was about 2.55% sold of the portion that we had allocated. So we're pretty much just, I think, with a little over 5 being raised, I think we're probably around like 2.7%, 2.8%. What would you say, Yago?
Sorry, I
Yago, you
pressed the
there?
wrong button. I'm not sure,
That's okay.
actually. I haven't checked that number.
Okay. All right. Well, I can always get that number for you guys, anyways, because I know that you guys have been asking. So, but yeah, obviously, if you take those numbers, that should kind of give you guys like a overall gist or estimate of what that would be. But awesome. That sounds great. Hopefully, that gives you guys a little bit of insight into just like pre-sale insights. As always, if you guys have any more information, we're happy to highlight that as well. With that being said, let's dive into some of your questions, my friends. Let's see here. There's quite a few questions that came in, and also I do want to highlight. I know that some of you were expecting the Charms call to be today, but just full transparency, it's being moved. It was moved to next week, but there's also a potentiality of that again being moved again. Just letting you guys know. Just really depends on the availability of everybody. So. Let me see here. All right. All right. So crypto is NFA. Jason in Web3 asked. Question for aliens. How do you manage to handle everything community from announcement to community events, coordination to support tickets to AMAs to every other thing you do? And what's even crazier is most of these start super early your time and you go to bed past midnight. How do you manage? Well, if you guys don't know by now, I am an alien. I'm actually AI. Yago knows this. I'm actually one of the most advanced models of AI. So, but no, that's a great question. Honestly, the way that I like manage my
You
workload,
need to be very careful these days. People will believe you. And if I remember correctly, we programmed you not to say.
well, I guess you guys didn't program me correctly, huh, Yago? Oh man, that's funny. But yeah, the way that I manage my workload, guys, I kind of do it like the traditional way. I literally write everything down. Like if I breathe, I write it down. If I walk to the other side of the room, I literally write it down. I pick up my pencil, I write it down. Like I literally just like take note of every single little thing that I do and organize my day accordingly. I write down all my tasks the day before actually. to just prepare for the following day. And then I'll just go through every single task, just stay organized. I also use a kind of like a project management tool. I use two. I use Notion, and then I'll also use Asana. Both have been super helpful for me. I also recommend you guys use them. Notion has a free like service or subscription, whatever, available, and they offer like hundreds of thousands of different templates. Like you could have a content calendar, for example, if you're a content creator, or you could just have like different to-do lists, or if you're managing a project. It's honestly amazing. And there's so much more that you could do with Notion as well. You can literally create like a mini website, which you guys might get access to later on. Who knows? Hint, hint. But yeah, thanks for that question, my friend. Let's move on to the next one. So Sudi said, as we change the AMA to a regular AMA, can we get an update on all the stats that happened so far? How many tokens have been sold? How much dollars did we raise? And do we have a couple of partners for the listings? Do we have a starting price in mind?
No. So we're not at liberty at this point to provide that information. As we've mentioned in the past, because of the exchanges' concerns around their own PR, front-running, regulatory issues, we cannot discuss anything until the TGE occurs and listings occur. And so we can't provide any specifics, unfortunately.
Thank you guys for understanding. We must abide by confidentiality obligations, of course. You guys understand. Storm asked, a question of mine that has not yet been answered. Are there already plans for marketing to make BOS better known? If so, what are the plans for this? Advertising in magazines, the internet, TV, and so on and so forth.
So we are not planning on doing any of that in the very near term. And the reason is that we don't think that the return on that would be effective. The primary focus now needs to be much more laser focused on reaching those people who are most likely to want to interact with the system. And so there are different kinds of ways that you can see this kind of interaction. We are going to be focusing on bringing developers to build in the ecosystem. So we've got a number of things planned, including an upcoming hackathon. We have work that needs to be completed in terms of chain integrations. And so at this point in time, we're not focused on bringing new chains on board and getting new partnerships, because there's quite already a backlog of partnerships that we'll need to take care of first. But once that backlog, once we've been working through that backlog, we're going to reignite the work around partnerships, and that is much more of a sort of BD effort than a broad marketing effort. And then there's the focus on users, where our primary focus early on is going to be on institutional users. Why institutional users? 3 reasons. First, they have significant bang for the buck. In other words, every institutional user that we bring into the system is a significant amount of capital. Second, institutional users represent a signal to the rest of the market. And so the capital that they bring and who is bringing it is a powerful marketing tool in and of itself. And also what we have to offer is uniquely suited to them. So we have a uniquely powerful proposition for institutional users. And then the third reason is that for end retail type users, marketing of the system of BOS as a protocol itself is probably not that effective. What more retail users need to see is what can we do with the system. And so there, the marketing effort needs to be from the projects that are building on the system. And so the third thing that we will be doing is looking to support the efforts of projects building on BOS and their marketing efforts. Now, there's still value in building out the BOS brand and having a high degree of awareness of the BOS protocol. And so that effort is going to continue. But in the near term, don't expect to see sort of like, TV advertising or NASCAR or, BOS is sponsoring a sports team, because that is not where we are in terms of the scale or the maturity of the ecosystem, and would be more of a vanity expense than what is likely to bring the greatest bang for the buck in terms of pure protocol growth and utility.
Thanks, Yago. It's a good answer. It seems I accidentally went ahead and answered some questions that were actually just recently posted. I see that there was questions from a couple days ago, so apologies for that. I'm going to work my way back up. To be Cryptological asked, are there any updates on the Design the Drip challenge, or did I miss that already? No, you did not miss that, my friend. I promise that's still on my mind. I've just been extremely busy. I'm going to address that with you guys later on. Just give me a little bit of time, please. So thank you for that. Let's see here. So Mike Land wants to know about our association with Litecoin.
So I think this is very exciting. Let me start by saying what we see as our sort of near-term goal. In the near term, the primary focus, it won't only be this, but the primary focus is going to be on integrating UTXO chains. Now, yes, we will see EVM chains integrated, we will see rollups integrated, but the massive opportunity of the UTXO chains is going to be the lion's share of the effort. Why? UTXO chains are the most underserved massive market in crypto that exists. The first part of it is obvious, I think, is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is more than 65% of the total market. In terms of asset, has the largest user base and is currently obviously super underserved. But then, in addition to that, you have things like Cardano, Litecoin, Monero. These all have massive user bases, significant asset bases, and are currently underserved from the perspective of DeFi, from the perspective of developers, from the perspective of programmability. And so by building BOS as the operating system that integrates all of these UTXO chains, Doge, into a hybrid super chain centered around Bitcoin, with the ability to move funds seamlessly between them, with the ability to have smart contracts on one chain, interact with all of these other chains. Instantly, we go from the UTXO market being ignored by almost everyone to being the lion's share of the market, a dominant part of the market, suddenly having programmability, having interactivity, interoperability, scalability. And that allows you to use different parts of this ecosystem, the payments integrations, as well as the privacy on Litecoin, the massive asset base and mind share of Bitcoin, the programmability of Cardano, all unified into this super alloy. It's going to be a beast. And so that is our near-term vision, and it's a big enough vision in and of itself to be really all the vision that we need. So that brings me to Litecoin. What are we doing with Litecoin? Well, the same technology, the same operating system that we've built for Bitcoin is applicable to Litecoin as well. So what we can do for Bitcoin, we can do for Litecoin. And we already have this phenomenal project, LitVM, significant funding, major players on its team. In fact, they recently announced that Charlie, the Charlie Lee, the founder of Litecoin, has joined their team, building a roll-up to Litecoin on BOS technology. Right, so we're going to be so in a few months. There's going to be this possibility to move LTC, right, Litecoin, onto the Bitcoin network, to move BTC into the Litecoin network and have cheaper transactions on Litecoin with the privacy applications of Litecoin. Have programmability provided by LitVM or by Cardano. So you have DeFi available to this ecosystem. Not to mention the other rollups like the Sovereign rollup, Merlin rollup, that will be integrated as well. So this is a significant undertaking and a big project, but the scope of what we potentially, if we execute correctly and continue on the path that we're currently on, the scope of what we're going to be able to execute is going to be a phenomenal game changer, taking sort of Cardano, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and in the future, potentially Monero, Doge, bringing them in to a single unified ecosystem and turning that ecosystem overnight into by far the largest, most powerful, most important core, beating heart of the entire crypto space.
Wow. If that doesn't make you bullish, I don't know what. The world is not ready for the UTXO Superchain Alliance. I'll tell you that much. All right. Next question. Daniel Obi asked, what is the criteria for the node operators? I know we answer this pretty much in every single community call, but feel free to dive into that one, Yago.
Yeah, so in the beginning, we're going to have a select hand-picked set of operators. And the reason for this is, we've discussed the reasons for this many times, but I'll just quickly summarize. This allows us to bring in some of the most trusted, most proficient operators, build the system around them, providing the system from day one with the highest degree of security and functionality and performance. And at the same time, in the early days of the platform, if there are the need to introduce upgrades, which there certainly will be, as we're adding additional functionality, it will make the upgrade path more seamless. And then as we open up running nodes to more people, we are going to be paying a price for that, right? And this, anyone who's got any, if you look at crypto projects, as you decentralize further and as you have more and more participants and more stakeholders, there is a natural degree of coordination cost and ossification. But of course, what you're getting is a much larger number of parties involved. And so that is the goal, but early on, so that we can be more nimble and at the same time make sure that we're the protocol, the service is running at the highest possible degree of functionality. We are expecting to keep the number of operators smaller and more selective.
Thanks, Yago. So TechNotes had actually asked a similar question. Are Slam nodes decentralized? So not at the moment, my friends, but that is the goal as we progress through the phases. Where can we learn more about them? Once we have more information available, we will share that with you guys. There will be technical documentation. We'll host AMAs. There will be specific categories and channels on Discord catered towards that, especially if you'd like to run a node, so on and so forth. So don't worry about that, my friends. We are bringing you guys along on the journey. Let's see here. Next question from Lord Whitefire. He asked, for the November hackathon, what are the eligibility rules? team size, prior experience, so on and so forth.
I'm sorry, I don't have that in front of me, so I can't answer that question offhand. But if they haven't been published already, which I actually don't think they have been, they'll be published soon enough.
Yeah, once we get more information, my friend, we'll definitely make an announcement with that. Feel free to DM me as well if you have any questions afterwards. Let's see here. Seasons asked, what are the control mechanics set in place to prevent whales from accumulating a large percent of BOS to avoid price manipulations in the future?
The primary thing that we've done is make sure that the assets that are being distributed across a large number of participants. So we have a number of airdrop projects which will be distributing to a large number of participants. We had the pre-sale, which is distributing to a large number of participants, and there are no whales in any of those. And then in terms of additional token allocations, there's a relatively small token allocation, less than 10% to founders and team, which unlocks over a 5-year period, starting only in a year. And then you guys may have seen that we've announced a $10 million raise from institutional investors. And this is also split across a large number, and also represents a not overwhelming, like a relatively small percentage. I think not even 10% of the tokens spread across multiple different parties. So, and that too sort of unlocks over a 4-year period, again, starting in a year. So, we think that we've done a very good job of distributing tokens, and we'll continue to look to basically do what we've been doing up until now, which is managing distribution such that there is no single party with a dominant distribution.
Thanks, Yago. Appreciate that. All right. The questions that were after Season's questions are all charms related. So I'm scrolling back down just to let you guys know. Full transparency here. Let's see here. Beauty Queen asked, many people see BOS as a way of upgrading Bitcoin's capabilities. How would you describe our vision in simple terms?
Depends to whom. But if it's to people who hold Bitcoin or already are in crypto, I would say this is the first time we're getting programmability and scalability for Bitcoin, also allowing it to integrate with other chains seamlessly, effectively turning Bitcoin into a neutral interoperability hub for all of crypto. Maybe an even easier way to say it is imagine all of the functionality of Ethereum, but for Bitcoin. And for other people outside of our market, I would describe it as taking the world's most trusted global financial network and making it useful not just for BTC, but for any type of property rights, any type of asset will be coming to Bitcoin. Or maybe put it even in simpler terms, building the technology that is going to mean that the entire world will run on Bitcoin in the future.
Thanks, Yago. Lucas asked, I know it was widely announced, but is the BOS token presale now officially over, or will there be a little chance before the TGE sweating emoji? The BOS token presale is now officially over, my friend, and there will unfortunately not be another chance before TGE. Next question. This is kind of a funny one. Jimmy Shaker asks, any news from Hillary's side of things as CCO? Is she allowed to share anything? If not, maybe she could just share a short haiku about BOS. I will pass that message on to her.
I will also just say that Hillary has some very, very good news happening to her on a personal level, and so is going to be taking a short vacation to take advantage of a happy personal event that she, major life event um, uh, um, that she's being blessed with right now, and so for a short period of time, she's going to be off having fun without us.
But when she's back, we will definitely have her come up on another community call. I know you guys enjoyed hearing from her last time. So, all right, next question. Let's see here. Solo asked several, let me see, what do they? Will any ecosystem partners be launching BOS DeFi products at TGE, like BOS LP positions, lending, borrowing markets, or yield generating vaults?
I'm not sure exactly if it will happen in TGE, but we are expecting to see DeFi integrations for the BOS token and BOS ecosystem. I don't know exactly on the time frames here, but not too long after TG.
Thanks, Yago. Tlust.mocha asked, will we have any allocation checker or will we see our allocation only on claim? I assume this is for the pre-sale.
I'm not sure what an allocation checker is. You'll be able to see your allocation on the UI providing for claims.
Thanks, Yago. Slim asked, and we actually just answered this, so we can skip this if you'd like, but how does the team plan to maintain hype and visibility after launch?
Yeah, I think we discussed this.
Okay.
There's going to be a lot of developments after launch. Is a significant. We expect that there's going to be significant, product feature or just general type of announcements occurring on an ongoing basis.
Thank you, Yago. Let's see here. Next question. Elsa asked, hello, Familia. BOS has been described as the modular layer for Bitcoin's future. How does Charms fit into that story? How do you envision Charms fitting into that story? A cornerstone protocol, a liquidity engine, or a gateway for users into BOS apps?
Charms are a very interesting piece of technology. They don't really have an equivalent anywhere else in crypto. On the simplest layer, they are a token standard. The first programmable token standard, the first true programmable token standard that works in Bitcoin. Also the first true programmable token standard which allows transfers between chains and execution environments by the user themselves without going through what would traditionally be called a bridge via ZK proofs. But in practice, Charms is actually much more than that. It's an entire programmable layer. It's a system for intents. It's a system for smart contracts. So Charms is a new way of thinking about programmability of assets and programmability in crypto, where instead of the programmability being built into a chain, the programmability is built into the asset itself. And so what that means is, if you think about, I've sometimes used the metaphor of imagine a token, right? A regular token is just a slug, right? It's like this thing that moves from one wallet to another on a chain. And then it can move from one smart contract to another. But charms are like a snail that carry the smart contract with it. The smart contract is the house and moves with the snail itself. So the smart contract is actually built into the token and moves everywhere the token goes. And then imagine that this snail is sort of like a hyperdimensional snail and can zip from one dimension to another instantaneously, which is the same as beaming or porting that asset from one chain to another. But the smart contract doesn't get stuck on the chain because the smart contract is built into the asset. And so the smart contract moves with the token. And what this means for developers is that you can build a piece of software and deploy it once. You don't need to deploy it again and again and again to all the different chains. You deploy it once and it works with everything that is integrated with Charms, with everything that is integrated with BOS. It's a completely new way of thinking about crypto, and we think is the future of crypto.
Thank you, Yago. That's a great answer. Lord Whitefire, I am skipping your question because we already answered one of your questions, just FYI. And then I did want to give a big shout out here to Lord Dre for coming up to the speaker panel and giving exposure to his community as he always does. Thank you so much for joining us, my friend. Your efforts are always so appreciated on our end. With that being said, I brought up a few people to the speaker panel. Cardano Baby, if you would like to speak, the mic is yours, my friend. Cardano Baby, are you there? If you would like to speak, the mic is yours. All right. Just put your hand up when you come back and I will bring you up, my friend. With that, I'll bring up some more people. I did want to share today's secret code with you all. I know you guys are waiting for the secret code. I will only share it once, so listen up. The code for today is 9999. That is all. Thank you, friends. All right, so Comfy just came up to the speaker panel. I would like for you to, I would, the mic is yours, my friend, if you'd like to speak.
Yeah, thank you. It's so nice to be here. And I'll say this is like my first time attending the space here, and I'm so happy to be part of something significant like this. So I wanted to ask that is there any package for staking or any staking plans?
Yago, you want to answer that one, or you want me to answer?
Speaking plans? Yeah, maybe
Staking.
you can answer, Alien.
I got you. Yeah, so in terms of staking, yes, my friend, that is the goal. Our goal is for you to be able to stake on a Slam node operator of your choice. Obviously, because not everybody's going to be able to run a Slam node, right? It's going to require a more intensive unit. So that is definitely one of our goals. However, please don't expect that at launch. That is something that we plan on integrating in the near future as we progress through the different phases. Also, thank you so much for coming up to the speaker panel, my friend. Big shout out to you. It's not always easy to do that. So thank you so much. And we love having your support. So yeah, if you have any other questions, again, feel free to put your hand up. But Lord Dre, I see your hand is up, my friend. The mic is yours.
GM everybody.
GM friend.
Yeah, Elian, you're owing me some merch. I don't know if you
I
remember.
do. I do owe you much. I
Yeah,
trust me.
GM.
It's been on my mind. It's been on my mind, man. Like every day,
Uh,
every moment, I wake up in the morning, my eyes open. I'm like, damn it, Lord Dre wants merch. But then,
yeah,
the
yeah.
day progresses. I've been busy. Just remind me. Send me another DM. I got you on that.
No problem, no problem. Interesting. thing being built here. You know, I'm a big supporter. I've been here in my community. I often come and attend the space, and my community members will come and listen and get up to date with what's going on. I just have a question. I'm seeing on Sovereign's page that we sold about 75.3 million tokens, right? So I'm just curious about if it's not something that the team can answer this time. I quite understand, right? Can we approximate what the tokenomics, the initial supply would be like, given what was sold, putting into consideration airdrops allocation to the Cardano community? Would we be seeing up to 200 or 300 million tokens circulating initially?
So we're going to publish an exact accounting that will appear on the website shortly before TGE. And that will be the best source of that information because it will provide the precise accounting of everything.
Oh, okay. I'll just wait till then.
Thank you. Thanks for your patience.
Appreciate you, my friend, always. Next question here. The Flash asked, will users be able to claim BOS tokens in batches to minimize gas fees, or is it a one-time claim process each time?
I believe that every transaction will count as a claim. So you can choose to batch if you wish, or you can make more individual claims.
Thanks, Yago. Simple answer. Social chain, you asked a question that we just answered. It was, when will staking be available? When and how can I run my own nodes? Like we said, my friend, staking will be available at a later phase. It's not going to be available right off the bat. So please do stay patient for that. And then when and how can you run your own nodes? Again, there will be more information pertaining to that once that is available. Like I said, we'll be hosting calls. There will be tech docs. We'll have, just again, calls surrounding this. There will be channels that allocated towards it on Discord. Promise you, we will give you guys all the information that you need. With that, let's see here. Bells, welcome to the speaker panel, my friend. The mic is yours if you'd like to speak.
Appreciate it so much for the co-host and host. Really excited about BOS and what you guys are doing. I'm actually a Cardona native blockchain person, and I believe that that integration of Bitcoin and ADA is going to be something that could really help the market. And I guess my question would be, when it comes to integration wallets wise, what are some things you guys are doing to integrate with Cardona and other blockchains wallet wise?
We
Thank
are
you.
talking to all of the main Cardano wallets, as well as many other major wallet providers around integrations. And the work for some of them has already begun.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hopefully that answers your question, my friend. And thanks for coming up to the speaker panel. It's nice to hear from you. I think this is the first time we've heard from you. But again, yeah, thank you so much. Lord Dre, did you have another question?
Yeah, when are you guys distributing my passport? I have 200 raffle ticket.
You're funny. You're funny. Soon, my friend. Soon. Just check your email. All right. I want to give everybody a chance to come up and ask questions if they need to. So I'm going to remove some people from the panel, so apologize for that. Let me bring up Bodek real quick. Before that, let's just go on to the next community question. Let's see here. Metal Pig asked, from your perspective, which projects overlap the most with what BOS is building? Are there any teams whose tech you think could complement BOS rather than compete with it?
I think there are many teams whose work complements BOS, and indeed we're already integrated with many different systems, systems for ZK proving, systems for rollups, entire chains. Then other pieces of infrastructure like block explorers will be integrated as well. Yeah, I think there's just, it's mostly a game of integrations and collaborations, not really a game of competition. There's a huge market out there which is untouched because no one's been able to offer the technology to provide what we're providing, what the world is looking for. And so it's not really about competition at this point in time.
Thanks, Yago. And yeah, I couldn't agree more. And that's something that we preach all the time, guys. Like, we are not competing whatsoever. That is not our ethos. That is not our mindset. We're all building towards this same goal, right? Like Yago said, there's this whole untapped, untouched market. And the mindset here is togetherness and oneness, building towards the same goal. So, with that, Comfy, let's get to your question, and then we'll get to Bodek, and then we will get to ComputeFi. So, Comfy, the mic is yours, my friend.
All right, thank
Hi.
you. I'm a little bit lost. I heard you called a number 999. So, like, I don't know. What is the number for?
So I'm not going to repeat the number, but what the number is for is it goes towards Zeely. So if you join our Zeely community, there's a quest that's live for a secret code for this call. And then you'll go take the code that I shared and you'll input it into Zeely, and then you'll get XP for it. So every month to a month and a half, we have these Zeely sprints. And Zeely is like kind of like this questing platform. I'm sure you know what it is. You kind of go there, complete tasks, get XP. But we have a live sprint pretty much every month to a month and a half. And where we give away like USDC rewards, points, things of that nature. So feel free to check it out, my friend. If you go to our Discord, I actually just launched a new channel called Community Hub. And it gives you all the information you need to know regarding like the different Discord roles that we have, how to attain them, the different types of ways to like connect with our community ecosystem, whether it's via Zeely or whether it's via Engage points. Like on the Engage side, for example, we have a marketplace, and people are competing right now to basically get a PS5. So it's like we always have like different rewards there. We got like gift cards, things of that nature. So I just recommend like joining our community and then going to the community hub. That should basically cover everything that you need to know. But hopefully that answers your question, my friend. With that, let's go to Bodek. Bodek, the mic is yours, my friend. Welcome to the speaker panel.
Hi everyone. My question was in the Amar channel, but Ellen read it bit incorrect. My question was about checker. I asked about NFT holders, Zeely campaign users, and OKX Cryptopedia. About this checker we have, or we just claim our allocation on DG?
That's a good question. I see what you're talking about. So, just wait a couple more days. I'm going to put out an announcement that's going to give you all the information that you need to know regarding, the airdrop campaign that we hosted, the OKX Cryptopedia. There will be very set, clear instructions for you guys. Is that okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, my friend. Thanks for coming up to the speaker panel. It's always good to see you. Let's see here. ComputeFi, welcome to the speaker panel, my friend. The mic is yours. We would love to hear from you.
Okay, guys. Thanks for bringing me up here. G-bosses, everyone.
G-Boss, my friend.
Yeah,
Welcome.
yeah, thanks, Alien. I have two questions to ask. I actually posted it in the AMA channel. Okay, my first question is, how does Charms leverage BOS zero knowledge cryptography to ensure decentralization and security when minting or moving programmable tokens on Bitcoin mainnet? That's my first question. And my second
Wait, sorry.
question.
Do you mind repeating that question, please?
Okay, my question is, how does Charms leverage BOS zero-knowledge cryptography to ensure decentralization and security when minting or moving programmable tokens on Bitcoin
Understood.
mainnet?
Okay, yeah, sure. And your second question?
Yeah. Second question is, what advantage does the Charms BOS integration offer developers building cross-chain assets compared to traditional token standards like ERC20 or BRC20? I just want to
Thanks.
know that.
Awesome questions. Let me answer the first question. So the first question was, how does BOS utilize Charms to provide secure and decentralized transactions, token transactions, and effectively programmable token transactions on Bitcoin? So Bitcoin is a UTXO system. Now, what that means is that I'm thinking how much to go into detail here. All right. There's two kinds of systems in the crypto world. There's the Bitcoin, Cardano, Litecoin, Monero, Doge. These are UTXO systems. And then there's Solana, Ethereum, etc. Those are account-based systems. The way an account-based system works is you have an account on chain, almost like a bank account, and that account has different assets in it. So there's an asset and it says, you've got 10 ETH, you've got 100 USDC in your account. UTXO systems are different, and they have significant advantages, but also disadvantages. We won't go into all of that, but basically what happens in a UTXO system is that the UTXO doesn't have a universal account for the user, but instead it has every single asset is tracked as what's known as an unspent transaction output, or UTXO. So that means that when you're holding BTC, what you're actually holding is potentially a large number of Bitcoin that are unspent, right? And they're sort of like registered without being associated with each other. So there's nothing on chain which tells you, okay, these are all associated with the same user. And when you spend them, then they go to wherever they're going, and then they become a new unspent or potential transaction. Okay, so why is this important? Because the way Charms works is what Charms does is it creates ZK proofs that are transactable as unspent transaction output, or ZK UTXOs. And so when you are transacting Charms, you're actually transacting on the Bitcoin network itself using your Bitcoin private keys to transact. And because it's a UTXO system instead and not an account-based system, every single asset sort of has its own individual path that it goes on, which means that it's trackable as an individual asset, which means that it can maintain its programmability in a way that you can't maintain with account-based systems, because account-based systems, when you put all the assets into an account, then they get mushed up, they get mixed up together. And so you can't say, okay, well, this USDC in this account is tied to this smart contract, and this USDC is tied to a different smart contract. But with an UTXO system, you can, because each one has its own individual path. So to answer your first question, the way we maintain the security and decentralization is by having the security and decentralization provided by the Bitcoin network itself, right? So that's a very big deal. Now, with regards to the second question, which is what advantages does this have for a developer? Well, UTXO-based systems in general are better for ZK proofs, and more of the industry is moving towards ZK proofs for scaling and for privacy. But that is the small advantage. The big advantage is that because these assets can keep the smart contract information inside of the asset itself, or carry it like a shell, like I described earlier, like a snail, even as the asset moves, even between chains, it remains tied to, it continues to interact with the same smart contract. So what that means is that when you're a developer and you're building for the crypto today, if you want to have Uniswap, for example, on Ethereum, you deploy it to Ethereum, and then you deploy it again to Arbitrum, and then you deploy it again to Polygon, and you can only deploy it to those, and so you have to deploy it many, many times. That breaks liquidity, it breaks the user experience. It means that you need to have unsecure bridging, and it also means that you have to rewrite the whole piece of software if you want to deploy it to something else, like Solana. So that's why you don't even have Uniswap on Solana. But when you're building for charms, as a developer, you build once, just like as if you were building a website or a mobile app. You build it only one time, and it interacts with everything. And so that means that you can have assets across multiple different chains tied to the same smart contract. And what that means is that for developers, it's build once, deploy once, serve everyone. It takes the existing fragmented paradigm of crypto and turns it into a single unified web-like experience for users and developers.
Thank you, Yago. Compute. Hopefully that answers your question, my friend. If you need clarifications, I'm happy to provide that as well. Yago, what are you looking like on time right now?
We could do, I think, 2 more questions.
2 more questions. Okay. And then after that, we'll do a round of engage points, my friends. So Godo asked, "Hi Yago, I am new to crypto. One of my favorite advocates is Jeff Booth. When I listen to you speak, I get the same good vibes of someone who believes in working towards this brighter, abundant future that Jeff speaks of. My question is, have you ever had a conversation with Jeff, and what commonalities and alignments have you had with his vision of where Bitcoin is going?"
I've met Jeff a few times. I don't know him that well. And to be honest, I don't really watch his stuff. I just don't have time to watch that many sort of Bitcoin influencers. I would say we probably agree on almost everything. Probably the biggest potential point of disagreement is that Jeff is mostly or almost entirely interested, as I understand it, in Bitcoin as BTC. And I think that Bitcoin as BTC is super important, but becomes so much more powerful and so much more interesting when BTC itself becomes programmable, and that Bitcoin can play a much bigger role than just being a ledger for BTC, but can be a ledger for all the property rights and all of the assets in the world.
Thank you, Yago. I brought up Trav, but it looks like I think you're having network issues, my friends. Let's see here. Let me see this last question over here. Crypto artistries. I need more insight on the BOS protocol feature, which is unifying other chains. Is it the BOS protocol programming? Is it that BitcoinOS protocol programming to home? And okay. Guys, some of these questions, one, they are heavily AI written, and if so, you guys just need to like write them in your own phrasing. And then on the other hand, some of the questions do not make sense. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to skip this one, because I can't read it. I can't read it. I'm so sorry. Cointree asked, will the OS be able to accommodate the volume of the intended Bitcoin in a case where chains keep flowing and building on the OS?
Yeah, so I'm going to actually try and answer both of those questions, because I'm not sure I understood the first question better than you did, but I think it was talking about interoperability and how chains become interoperable with Bitcoin via BOS. And then the second question is around scalability and managing scale. And they're kind of tied to each other. So what it means, one of the most mind-bending aspects of BOS is that up until now, the way smart contracts have worked is that you take everything that is in the smart contract, all of its data, all of its transactions, everything, and you put it into the blockchain itself. And then you force every single node and every single validator to rerun independently, in parallel, every single computation. And for those two reasons, this does not scale and is also isolated to one chain and one chain only. What we've done is we've taken compute. We keep the compute off-chain. We prove that the compute is correct via proofs, and then we validate those proofs on Bitcoin. So that allows the system to theoretically have no scale limitations because it is all occurring in parallel off-chain, right? And off-chain doesn't have a scaling problem. It's on-chain that has a scaling problem. And this also tells you how we integrate chains into Bitcoin. Because what happens is we take the chain and create a proof of the chain and write that to Bitcoin, basically giving Bitcoin eyes and a brain to understand, validate, verify what is happening on other chains. And then we also allow other chains to do the same thing to Bitcoin. So suddenly Bitcoin and the other chain are talking to each other with cryptographic proofs that what they're saying is true. And so the way that we're integrating these chains is basically an extension of the basic principle of what we're doing, which is making compute verifiable, taking compute from something which happens in the privacy of a single computer and then spits out an output, and you can tell the world about the output, but they can't ever prove that what you ran was the program that you said you ran, and the result that you received is the result you say you received. So we can allow compute to be provable. And what that does is it allows, in theory, any piece of software, all software, to become smart contracts, including entire chains. Now, there are, in practice, technical limitations because proving very large compute is expensive, and so you won't actually see entire computer games or entire chains being proven to Bitcoin in the near future. One day, eventually, yes, probably, but not now, because the compute is still too expensive. But as you guys know, compute gets cheaper and cheaper all the time, and the algorithms to do the proving get better and better all the time. So the costs are dropping very, very fast. But you actually don't need to prove everything. You just need to prove the thing that you're trying to say. It actually happened. So if you're doing a transaction on another chain, you don't need to prove everything about the chain. You just need to prove that transaction. And so that's how we allow for effectively potentially infinite scale and integration, not just of chains, but of any compute with Bitcoin.
Amazing answer, Yago. And yes, it does seem that you understood the questions better than me. I guess you guys didn't program me as an AI to understand everything, huh? But thank you so much for joining us today. We are so grateful to have you. Is there anything else that you'd like to, wrap up with? Anything else that you'd like to say before you head out?
I'd just like to say thank you very much, Alien, for organizing us. Thank you to all the bosses for joining. It's always great to have the opportunity to talk with you guys because, I'm mostly building this for me, but I'm also building it for you. And, happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Things are exciting. Let's keep going. Stay boss.
Wow. We love a transparent co-founder. Thank you, Yago. Appreciate you. Hopefully you have a great weekend. With that, guys, let us throw up those hearts. Do you guys want 200 engage points? Let's go. I need to see those hearts in the chat right now. Let's see those hearts. Come on, guys. All right, we see Yago throwing out hearts, Compute Indulgent, let's go. We got Jimmy Shaker with the hearts, 2B Cryptological. Throw up those hearts. Come on, guys. Hyde throwing up the hearts. Everybody who's throwing up hearts right now is going to enter to win 200 engage points. That is almost $10 worth of USDC, my friends. Let's go. Come on, guys. Throw up those hearts. I see Mike Land, Somzi in the chat. We got Bodek in the chat throwing hearts. Jay Bryan, Crypto Artistries, Amber. Good to see you. We got Baby Gangster. Let's go, guys. We got Crystal, Mark, Bells, Demos, Rajveer, Elsa. Yo, Elsa, by the way, destroyed everybody at game night last night, but let's not talk about that. All right. All right. Posley in the chat, UA2. Let's go. We got Bitcoin Boss. Come on, guys. All right, all right. You guys have all successfully entered a raffle to win 200 engage points, my friends. GG's on that. So as always, I am going to do my best here to answer some of the remaining questions that you guys have. But you know, you guys know I had like the biggest brain fart last call we had, and you guys even made memes about it. So thank you so much for making fun of me. I do everything I can for you guys, and this is how you treat me, man. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's all love. It's all love, my friends. So let's see what Posley said. So Posley said, hi, as always, happy to be here and invested totally. Love to hear what is installed in the AMA today. I don't have any questions, my friends. Beautiful. We love having you regardless, Posley. Thank you so much for just expressing your enthusiasm. That's always a good time. Dennis Wen Lambo, hi Alien, and all bosses in the wonderful AMA. I want to know when the Engage Marketplace will be filled with more exciting prizes. That is a good question, my friend. Just keep your eyes peeled. It might be today, it might be Monday, it might be Tuesday. Who knows? But as you guys know, the Engage Marketplace has already been filled with quite a few prizes already. We got a PS5 up for grabs. We got gift cards, right? We got USDC. I think I'm going to put up a couple more things as well to keep things exciting and engaging, things that you guys could claim now if you'd like. Obviously, there's Boss merch that's up for grabs. We actually had a couple claims already for the Discord Nitro, which is pretty cool. Always happy to give out some Discord Nitro to you guys. Let's see here. Fralex555 asked, is there or gonna be a merch website where we can check all the merch from the Engage Marketplace or buy directly from the site? That's a good question, my friend. We actually do have a merch site that's live right now. And for those of you that have actually picked up some merch from the merch store, your orders have actually been shipped out. So we do apologize for the slight delay, but our events lead was out of office. He was actually on paternal leave because he had a very new, exciting experience come to his life lately. So he was out of office, but he's back now, and he has actually shipped out most of those orders from my understanding. I think it's bitcoinos.build/shop. Yeah, if you guys would like to check it out, go to bitcoinos.build/shop, and you'll be able to see like some of the merch there. You'll be able to buy merch if you'd like. I know we have like really cool blankets. We've got like a long sleeve, couple hoodies, bags, hats, super cool stuff. We also have merch from before as well, like tumblers, which is basically like an insulated cup. So if you'd like pictures on that, just open up a sport ticket. I'm happy to show you what that looks like, my friend. Let's see here. Rafiq, you've actually been requesting to come up for a while. I'm so sorry, my friend. I was just going in order of people who requested. But I'm going to answer your question here. You said, G-Boss, what is the necessity needed to be eligible for the BOS token at TGE? You must have participated in the presale, my friend. That's pretty much it. If you deposited assets to the Sovereign Origins Launchpad, you were obviously promised a BOS allocation. So that is pretty much all that is needed for you to be eligible. And then we also had an airdrop campaign that was live for about I think it was live for almost 4 months, but that also ended months and months and months ago. So those individuals who submitted either their EVM or Cardano address will obviously be eligible as well. Ambrose, Gideon, good to see you. You asked, when will BOS advance to other blockchains apart from Cardano and Litecoin? This is a good question, my friend, and we actually did just cover this. Right now, obviously, our focus is UTXO chains, more specifically Cardano and Litecoin at the moment. And then obviously, as we progress through the phases and stages of our products, we'll obviously be looking to make integrations with other UTXO chains as well, like Doge and Monero, like Yago had highlighted. And we're also building a adapter contract that will also allow us to connect with EVM-based chains as well, right? So the whole goal for us is to unify the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem and have Bitcoin as, the settlement layer and the security hub that's uniting everybody. So the goal is to eventually, expand to all layer ones and all layer twos. T-Lust Mocha said, hi, my friend. I already answered your question, so I'm going to skip this hi message that you dropped in the chat. Let's see here. Next question, and I'm going to bring up one of our moderators. Next question here. Is there an opportunity for staking of the BOS token after launch? That's a good question, my friend. Unfortunately, I'm not sure. That's something that I'll have to discuss with the team and get back to you on. But in terms of staking the BOS token on a Slam node operator of your choice, like I said, that's something that is going to be available. That is something that we are most definitely working on, but that's going to be something that comes at a later phase. So, and once that's obviously available, like I said, there will be lots of technical documents, documentation. We will host spaces. We will have different categories and channels on Discord that's dedicated towards the onboarding process and, how to get started, so on and so forth. Let's see here. Alexa. My question to the team, Yago, what inspired you to take on the challenge of bringing DeFi and ZK tech directly to Bitcoin? Well, I'm obviously not Yago, but I do think that a part of this reason for him is sovereignty, right? He always says, I'm building this tech for myself first and foremost, but obviously for you guys as well, right? And the reason for that is simply because Bitcoin was never designed to be a programmable blockchain, right? It's always limited to being this store of value, this peer-to-peer payment system. And not only that, but you can't, at this moment in time, you can't trustlessly do anything with your Bitcoin, right? Like yield, staking, borrowing, things of that nature, right? Not only can you not put your Bitcoin to work on Bitcoin trustlessly, but you also can't do that on Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin wasn't never designed with that in mind, right? So there's obviously these roadblocks that you come across, especially when you hold your Bitcoin. Obviously, these individuals, they want to be able to do more with it, safely, trustlessly, right? So, because if I were to want to do something with my Bitcoin right now, right, in terms of DeFi, I would have to move it off of Bitcoin, right? Which means that trust assumptions change. Not only that, but there's also counterparty risk involved, right? So what happens is, let's say I'm trying to, use my Bitcoin for some form of DeFi, right? Staking of that nature. I have to trust a custodian. I have to trust a third party. I literally have to trust an individual with my Bitcoin. And nobody wants counterparty risk when they're handling their Bitcoin. So I'm pretty sure that there's it's obviously with Yago, I know that there's a lot of personal experience that's tied to, his drive with BitcoinOS, which I think is why we're able to we've been able to get as far as we have. He's very, very passionate about the tech. He's very passionate about what we're doing. And that's really been one of the main driving forces that's brought us to this point. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Like Yago said, I've also had the craziest week, guys. I'm exhausted. I have barely slept this week, so just bear with me. Bear with me, my friends. Let me bring up two individuals, though. You guys have been requesting to come up. Let's see here. All right, I'm only going to answer questions that I can answer at this moment in time because there's a lot of questions here. Lord, any Sundial partnership updates? Quite a few, actually. Quite a few, my friend. But I think that we'll have to wait for an official announcement to come out. I don't want to say anything before there's any official information that's released, obviously, because, we're trying to do everything with the utmost level of transparency. And if anything changes, then, it tends to backfire. So let's just wait for the announcements to go live. And we're also doing other things with Sundial as well, outside of just a technical partnership. Let's see here. Crescent, no question. Just want to appreciate the good work you're doing. Can't wait to test the infrastructure. Likewise, my friend, likewise. I'm honestly really excited for us to open ZK-BTC out to the public and, not just have it be catered towards institutional use. Obviously, we all want to do a little bit more with our Bitcoin, right? We want to put our Bitcoin to work, so trustlessly. So I'm really looking forward to that coming into fruition. With that being said, Trinity, welcome to the speaker panel. Good to have you. I think it's the first time you're here. We would love to hear from you, my friend.
I think someone already asked the question I had earlier. He asked about what developers wanting to make use of building on BitcoinOS and everything. I think the other dude from your end answered his questions, and then I got my point from there. So yeah, thank you.
Of course. Not a problem, my friend. Yeah, and there will be obviously more information next week, Yago highlighted in regards to, just so much, guys. Just all I can say is just remain patient, stay patient. Lots of announcements coming, lots of changes coming. BOS is cooking. That's all I can say. That is all I can say, my friends. Let's see here. I'm trying to get through some of these. My brain, guys, I'm struggling right now. John asked, my question is, how's everyone doing? Just want to wish you all the best. Love, what we are building. Want to encourage the whole team and the community. Much love, John. Thank you so much, my friend. Much love to you as well as always. We're all doing good. We're all, really tired, but we've got we're all in good spirits regardless. Tired, but in good spirits. So iOS asked, hello, familia. It looks like it was copied from somebody else. Looks like it might have been copied from Elsa, actually. Guys, please do not copy other people's questions. Yeah, it looks like the question was copied, so I'm going to skip that, unfortunately. Please, like I said, guys, just try not to copy each other's questions. I mean, it's a question at the end of the day. I'm sure you have a question. So please just try to, please try to stay original. Elsa, you already got your question answered, so I'm going to skip you there. Prime said, hello there. The UTX Bros Alliance with Cardano and Litecoin is transforming Bitcoin into shared liquidity before BOS's 10 mil raise. Which new chains beyond Arbitrum and Merlin are you prioritizing for the integration? At the moment, my friend, like I had mentioned earlier, we are prioritizing Cardano and Litecoin at the moment, which are both UTXO chains. And then as we progress through the different phases, we plan on also prioritizing other UTXO chains, right? Like Doge, Monero, so on and so forth. And then we're also building that adapter contract, like I mentioned, so that we can expand to all layer ones and all layer twos. Hopefully that answers your question. I'm going to bring up one more person here. All right. Seasons. I think we already answered one of your questions, Seasons. Let me see here. Thank you guys for your patience. Yes, we did answer your questions about the whales accumulating BOS, so I am going to skip that, unfortunately. But you already did get XP. Somzi asked, how does BOS help onboard more people into Web3 without them even knowing it's Web3? So I think Yago actually answered this as well. But I mean, that's a good question. I think if you're onboarding your friends that aren't necessarily in Web3 into like the BOS community, I think some of the main things to highlight here are what like the main purpose and goal of our products are, right? Like on a technical level, or even on a symbolic level as well, right? Like what is the overall ethos of what we're trying to like accomplish here, which is unity, right? So what we have at the moment, guys, is we have a very fragmented ecosystem, right? There's all these like different chains that exist, all these different solutions that exist, but they're all living separate to one another. It's like deserted islands. They don't have this seamless way to operate. As a result, not even operate, but just also communicate, right? So as a result, there's a lot of like issues, right? We have siloed liquidity. We have all these developers spread across different ecosystems, with coding with different programming languages and or having to learn another programming language because this chain thinks that their programming language is better than other programming languages, and so on and so forth. And then the user journey is also scattered, right? So what I mean by that is when you look at technology, right? Like you look at your like mobile device, the way that it's able to operate so seamlessly, right? You're able to like connect, share things from one app to another app and like post XYZ and all this app connects with that app. The reason why it's able to do that is because there's an underlying operating system that's managing these resources, that's creating interactivity, interoperability, communication, right? So at this moment, we're missing that in crypto. We are completely missing that within this space. And so we need an operating system to come in and create unification so that we can really take the space to like the next level, right? And I do think that once we have an operating system that's doing that, there's also going to be less opportunity for like these scammers and these hackers and all this like fraudulent activity taking place because there's unification across the board. And it's also going to be so much easier to onboard your friends as well. Like just think about like onboarding your friends right now. It's like think about all the things that you need to like cover. You know what I mean? It's mind-boggling, you know, from scams and hacks to dApps and wallets and different assets and different cryptos and different chains, different token standards. You know what I mean? It's kind of chaotic. So we need some kind of like unification, and that's ultimately what we're trying to do. But on top of that, we're also trying to create, we're also obviously trying to bring programmability to Bitcoin trustlessly. So we're trying to create space for you to utilize your Bitcoin, do more with it, turn it from dormant capital into productive capital in a trustless manner, right? Because that's what our technology allows, since everything is ZK powered. But again, I'm very exhausted. So I feel like none of this would even make sense to somebody in Web3. That's honestly probably a better question for Yago, to kind of cater that towards that person. But I guess what it really is just trying to create unity across the board. We're just trying to take this technology, whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it's blockchain, we're really just trying to take it to the next level. So that's ultimately what it like comes down to. Let's see here. What advantages does BOS and BOS token have over Charms and Bro token? So the BOS token serves as the service level agreement maintaining like mechanism of our entire operating system. What do I mean by that? It helps essentially maintain the operating system. It helps upkeep the integrity of the operating system, right? So Bro is pretty much is Charms is like it's Charms is like experiment. It was the first ever Charms token. It was also the first ever Charms meme token, right? It was a way for you guys to kind of dive in and see how this new universal token standard, this third generation token standard works. That's ultimately the purpose of the Bro token. The BOS token is also actually a Charms token. But the BOS token has no correlation to the Bro token whatsoever. Again, the Bro token is under the Charm standard, but it's a meme token. It's an experiment. It's a way for you guys to just see what the universal token standard looks and feels like. The BOS token is also under the same Charm standard, right? But it serves to upkeep the integrity of our operating system. So in terms of advantages of just like the Charms universal token standard, let me just highlight this for you. So Yago mentioned we have 3 generations of token standards, right? We have first generation, which is native to the chain, right? So like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's native to the chain. So we have second generation token standard, for example, ERC20, native to the chain, but programmable. And now Charms is the third generation token standard, which means that it's not native to the chain. It's actually chain agnostic, which means that any project that launches under these standards can actually live natively initially on any UTXO chain, right? So like Bitcoin, like Cardano, Litecoin, right? And it's programmable, right? So there's more that you're able to do with it. Yeah, and it can pretty much leave every chain and live on all these different chains, right? So it's like, I could essentially in the future, I could wrap, let's say like Snack, right? I can wrap Snack and it can now become a Bitcoin project and live natively on Bitcoin and become a Bitcoin project, right? So there's so much that we're able to actually do with this new token standard. Like I said, it's programmable, it's chain agnostic, and the entire goal of that is, once again, my friends, to create unity across this super fragmented ecosystem that we have. So hopefully that covers the differences there. Let's see here. There's a couple more questions. I cannot answer them, but you know what? I am going to give you guys XP regardless. There's like 3 more questions here. I think that these were honestly like answered anyway by Yago. So, Mike, you asked a question for those of us from Latin America. Do we have any problem using BOS tokens since I see they are not usually like Binance or MetaMask? I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. I don't think that you should have any issues in terms of utilizing the BOS token and or interacting with it whatsoever. In terms of exchange listings, in terms of wallets, that's once again we have confidentiality obligations, and that's not something that I can comment on. Again, in terms of wallet integrations, I think Yago mentioned that we're talking to quite a few different service. Just like services and platforms right now. So all that information will be available very, very soon, my friends. With that being said, I'm sure you guys can tell I'm heavily slowing down right now. Apologies for that. Tricon, you came up to be a speaker, my friend. Let's hear your questions. The last question we will be answering for the day. Would love to hear from you if you'd like to speak. The mic is yours. Go ahead, my friend. I see your hand is up. Go ahead.
Hello, GM. How are you?
GM. Go.
How are you, miss?
Hello.
I have a question about your project.
Yeah, let's hear it. What's
Can
going
I ask
on?
my question? Okay, thank you. My question is, team member is an internal part of a project. So tell us how background of them and how developer are working on this project. Thank you.
Sorry, what was the first part?
Okay. My question is, team member is an internal part of a project. So tell us how background of them and how developer are working on this project.
Okay. Yeah, in terms of background, we've got a pretty big team. I mean, it's not big in comparison to other projects, of course. We're still pretty small. But a little bit of a background information about myself. My name is Claire, head of community at BOS. I've been in the space since 2017. I have a pretty major marketing background. I've been doing marketing pretty much for the last like 8 or 9 years. But in between that, I also used to be a dog trainer. I had my own dog training business. I worked with dogs that specifically had reactivity problems. And what reactivity typically looks like is what humans would label it as aggression. So I would typically work with these types of animals. And then I was also in the resale business. I would buy and sell. Crazy. And then I was also an interior exterior painter for a very long time. I had my own interior exterior painting company. I did tile and carpentry. Really enjoy manual labor personally. I think it's like one of the most rewarding things to be able to like honestly like flip a house, right? Like it's like you really get to see your work like physically in person just evolve. So that's something that I honestly hope to go back to in the near future. Just because I enjoy it so much. So that's a little bit about me. Yago, we have, who is our co-founder. He, is also the co-founder of Sovereign. Highly recommend looking into Sovereign as well. And he also started one of the first remittance companies. He has a pretty extensive background, so I highly recommend going over to our website, going to the About section. Pretty much covers like everybody from our team, so you'll be able to look through there. Our LinkedIn's, the links to all our LinkedIn's are also there, so you'll be able to see some of our like professional background as well. We have Hillary, who is also our co-founder and CCO, our chief commercial officer. She's got quite an extensive background, honestly. She's been in crypto also for a very long time. She's a veteran. She used to work in the cannabis industry. I think she has a degree in poetry, which is very interesting. She's definitely going to have to put together a boss haiku for us later down the road. And then we have Elon, who is also our co-founder. Let's see here. Who else we have? We have Gotti, who is our CTO. I believe he used to actually work with Google. We have David, who is our DevRel. We have Calvin, who is our head of ecosystem. So he typically handles all the BD front of things and ecosystem growth, partnerships, so on and so forth. We have Eric, who is our lovely events manager, and he also manages our corporate strategy. So he has a background in, I believe he was with Thesis. And Hillary was also with Thesis. I think she was also with Evmos as well, which is a Cosmos project. So again, pretty extensive background here. Feel free to go to the About page on our website and you can pull up all our LinkedIn's, so on and so forth. And then in terms of those building on BOSS, we actually have different entities that are building on BOSS at the moment. Some who are building out the technology behind like the Grail tech. We have Charms Inc., which is building the Charms Universal Token Standard and all the integrations with layer 1s and layer 2s, which I had just mentioned to you. And then we have, at the moment, we have like the commercial team, which is me. We have our head of marketing, Sheer, who's also working on the commercial side of things. Yeah, honestly, there's a lot more that's going on like a technical level, but unfortunately, I'm kind of not. I've gone to I'm honestly just kind of like crashing out right now. Apologies for that. But we're gonna host another space next week, so definitely happy to answer those questions again for you in a little bit more detail. Besides that, on like a builder level, I'm not sure if you missed it, but we're actually going to be hosting a hackathon real soon as well. So that's pretty exciting. Definitely keep your eyes peeled for that, my friend. We'll post more information about that in the coming weeks as well, in terms of, the qualifications, prizes, so on and so forth. With that being said, my friends, let's do one final check-in here before we cover some of the latest community announcements. So let me just see those hearts real quick, guys. I'm doing a final call, final check-in. This is for 200 engaged points and a USDC giveaway. All right. So I got to see those hearts in the chat real quick. Everybody throw the hearts in the chat. All right. I'm already seeing Zudi. We got Tommy, Storm, Victor. We got To Be Cryptological. We got John. We got Jimmy, Steve, Lord. Everybody's throwing out the hearts. We got Tricon. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Everybody throw the hearts in the chat. We got Solo. We got Mark, Jeff, Tell, Baby Gangster. We got Edem. Who else? Everybody throw the hearts in the chat right now. We got Fralix. We got Prince, J. Brian, Crypto Artistries, Bodek, Mike, Peter. Come on, guys. I'm seeing a lot of you not throwing out hearts. I guess you guys don't want a USDC reward. All right, all right. I got the screenies, my friends. I got the screenies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love the enthusiasm. Always much appreciated. So you do have to be following me though, my friends, just letting you know, because I cannot DM you. And if you end up winning, I have to be able to tag you. I can only tag you if you are on my follower list. That's the only way that your name comes up. So you absolutely have to be following me, my friends. Just putting that out there. Okay. Some couple of community updates. As you guys know, we have a live Cardano giveaway right now. If you would like to participate, please head over to my feed, my profile, scroll down a little bit, and then you will see all the information you need in terms of participating. It's super simple. You pretty much just quote tweet the tweet, and then you give a reason as to why you want the ADA. But it has to be like all the wrong reasons. So we're just one giant big meme here, guys. So we got that going. Expect another one next week as well, my friends. Like I said, we're doing a Cardano giveaway pretty much this entire month. So expect another one next week. And obviously I've been very transparent about like the winners. And you guys know typically how it goes with these giveaways, like in the space, right? A lot of them just like typically utilize it like as like a marketing thing, and then they don't actually like pay out. So that's never the case on our end. I try to get those payments out literally within seconds, personally, because it helps me, but also because transparency, my friends, there's too many like liars and scammers in the space. And that's the opposite of the type of energy that we're trying to emit here. Another thing, the community hub. So like I mentioned earlier on in the call, we now have a community hub on Discord. Now what the community hub is, it's a channel that basically highlights everything a user needs to know about interacting with our community ecosystem. So if you wanted to earn incentives, you want roles, you want rewards, you want things of that nature, it pretty much highlights everything you could possibly like need to know, from Discord roles to our Zeely community to earning extra XP, right? Like for example, reacting to some of our announcements and earning plus 30 XP there. I just wanted to create a space for you guys so that, you guys can go there, especially if you're like onboarding your friends. There's just so much going on in our ecosystem at all times, and there's always something new that's being presented. So I just wanted the utmost level of transparency so that there's a fair playing ground for everybody. Once again, fair playing ground for everybody. That is our most important priority, my friends. So please do go and check that channel out. Put a lot of time and effort into it, my friends. A couple things, community activities. We played Gartic for the first time yesterday, and it's sad to say the alien trio, Sudi, Claire, me, aliens, and Storm, we didn't perform too well. All right. I placed first, Sudi placed third, but we're not afraid to admit that we didn't win every single round. All right, unfortunately. Just wait, because that was an introduction. As you guys know, in this community, we all defend our honor. We defend our titles. We do not play softly. We are not soft individuals. Just wait. Just wait, because the alien trio is going to strike back. But yeah, no, on a real note, guys, we played Gartic. It was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. You know, I thought I had really good internet. Turns out I don't. Turns out it's, I need to call my internet service provider and get a refund, because I don't know how in the world some of you were answering before me. I'm not going to lie. It seems like Elsa has the best ISP out there. I think Elsa is probably using Starlink. Um, I guess we're all going to have to make the switch. I mean, that's amazing marketing. Shout out to Elon Musk. Fantastic marketing right there. But also shout out to Isaac, aka Elsa. You're killing it, my friend. Gardic Master. We see you. We appreciate you. GG's. Um, he literally has, I think he literally has well over like 1,100, or was that Steve? No, that actually might be Steve. Steve has like 1,100, engage points, which is kind of insane to see, by the way. Shout out to Steve as well. Steve also happened to kill it. This man knows his animals. That's all I can say. He knows what cassowaries are. He knows marmots. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Marmot. I don't even know. Sounds like a wine. Sounds like a type of wine. But yeah, Steve was clearly an alien, or not an alien, an animal in a past life, because this man knows his animals. That's all I can say. But might have also been an alien. Anyways, with that being said, friends, it was a good time. It was a good time. We'll probably play again next week as well, but I'd also like to highlight that we will probably also be playing Sketchheads here and there again, just because it's a good time, my friends. And I'm sorry for those of you that unfortunately don't have the network of the gods, but the show must go on. The show must go on, unfortunately. But we will be thinking of you. We will absolutely be thinking of you, especially the alien trio. We will be thinking of you when we're winning. Sorry about that. Now, later on today, guys, in about approximately a little over an hour and 20 minutes, we are going to be watching a movie for Halloween. It is the best time of the year. We all know that. So in celebration of the best time of the year, we are going to be watching a horror movie. It's called Hereditary. If you guys have not watched it, all I can say is you are in for a treat, my friends. Pun intended, but genuinely, you are in for a treat. It's going to be a good time. If you haven't watched it, it kind of reminds me of that first movie we all watched together, which was Parasite. So like Parasite, like blew everybody's minds. It was that award-winning Korean movie, blew everybody's minds. This one is also going to blow your mind. So if you have not watched it, like I said, you're in for a treat. It starts in a little over an hour. We would love to have you. It's been really nice seeing the user count go up from like, I think we had like 15 participants watching movie nights with us. Now we're over like 50, guys. We got 50 people watching movies. We're watching movies together. We're all like in a digital virtual cinema together, little virtual theater. I mean, amazing way to end our Fridays, right? Can't lie there. So we'll also obviously we might skip movie night next week. I'm not sure. It is Halloween, so I know that some of you are trying to go trick-or-treating because some of you are still 12 years old. So I'm trying to cater to that. I'm trying to cater to that, my friends. I want to make sure you go out and get your candy. So I cannot interrupt your Friday night on the 31st. You know what I mean? But anyways, Indulgent, my friend, you were up at the speaker panel. Did you have any final closing remarks for us before we end the space?
G-Boss guys, can everyone hear me?
Barely, my friend. Are you using a potato as a microphone today?
Funny. That was very, very funny.
I try.
Yeah. You don't have a calling in comedy. So back to the community. Jibos everyone. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. So I'm not going to waste your time because we really spent a lot of time on this call. Though it was a really good one.
Proceeds to
So
waste our time.
my God. All right. So guys, quick one. First off, I do want to say this. We do have some. We love you guys. First of all, we love every one of you guys. But it is still our job to ensure that the Discord is safe for everybody, and is comfortable for everybody. At the same time, we are also ensuring that the team that works with you guys as community moderators give their best, and sometimes the community gets kind of rude to them. I don't think that is fair. So we get cases where a moderator can be talking to somebody concerning a particular situation, and probably because they feel like aliens or some other mod has a better answer, they will just tag the mod. You will get the same answer. It is the same answer everywhere. I promise you. It's just that you are hoping that somehow you will hear something different, but you will not. And not only are you, stressing the moderators, considering the fact that there is somebody already there working with you, you are making it uncomfortable for the rest of the community. So please, guys, do not engage in this behavior. I really beg you guys. Secondly, so something happened today, and I'm just trying to call it out because you guys do know that even though the Zilli sprint is on, you can get penalized for certain behaviors, right? So aliens have said this: if you're going to the meme channel, go drop a meme. That's it. That is all you have to do. Drop a meme. If it's good, you get a reaction. Sometimes you know a meme is good when you see members from the community reacting to it, because we can all see that the meme is funny. So coming to beg for likes and stuff is non-permissible behavior. So please do not engage in that behavior. Just come and drop your meme. I've been roasting Sudi lately. You all need to see my memes. It's legit legendary. Sudi's been on the receiving end. I just whooped Tubi's ass with a couple of memes too. So I mean, it's a fun time. We're having fun there. Just do not come asking for likes, please, guys. It is punishable behavior. All right. So those are the two big things I wanted to discuss with the community. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, so Indulgent and I like to play a little bit of good cop, bad cop here. He is obviously the moderator that you all love to hate. I'm kidding. We love you, Indulgent. You are amazing. You are beautiful inside and out. We love you forever, for infinity. So I actually got some pre-sale stats for you guys. I'm just going to share a couple here before we close off the space, my friends. And those of you who are still here, 68 of you, shout out to you. You guys are amazing. Get to hear these stats. So the total that was raised, from my understanding, was a little over 5 mil. And then the total in terms of the percentage, remember I told you guys, like, we allocated 5% of the total supply towards like the pre-sale. That 5%, the total amount that we raised there was 2.9%. Interestingly, Ethereum makes 1.5% of that, 1.59%, and then Cardano makes 0.99% of that. The rest is 0.35%. Pretty interesting. So the final numbers, my friends, of tokens that we allocated was 619 million BOS tokens to you guys, to a total of 2.5K users. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And again, just want to, end the space with just an appreciation for you guys. This is obviously like a collective thing. We are doing this together. We are building this together. We are completely rewriting history within crypto together. We could not do this without you guys. Your support and advocacy has been everything here. And I think that we're all going to be extremely surprised in the near future about the changes that we're going to make. I think this is far greater than anything that we've ever imagined. And we're noticing this within a team as well, just the amount of impact that is going to be had in the coming months to years, right? One thing that is being asked of me, my friends, is that if you did not provide your address for the pre-sale, right? If you did not provide your address to the Sovereign Origins Launchpad, please make sure that you go and do it as soon as possible. So we obviously had like a deadline for it, right? And the deadline was to get you guys to like go and deposit your addresses as soon as possible, because we want to make sure that you get your tokens at TGE. Now, we can't promise that moving forward. Obviously, we passed that deadline. Your tokens are going to be handed out on a rolling basis. So there will be more clarity provided to what that looks like within the next like coming days. Yeah, again, if you have not already submitted your address for the BOS presale on the Sovereign Origins Launchpad, please go and do that, my friends. Yeah, just because we want you guys to get your tokens, right? So with that, I think we're wrapping up here, my friends. Like I said, there's a pretty cheeky announcement that is set to go live here within the next 30 or so minutes. Like I said, I have been building in the shadows. I have been building in the depths, in the trenches for you guys. All right. Um, and it has sucked the life and soul out of me. I am now just in the most darkest place. I'm kidding. I'm not. I'm very happy. I'm actually very, very happy. But I've been building this for you guys. And I'm very, very excited to finally announce this. I think you guys are going to love it. I think it's exciting. I think it's interesting. And I really put all my love, my heart, my soul, my blood, sweat, and tears into it. So I hope that you guys can see that and appreciate that just as much as I appreciate you guys. Of course, I wouldn't do this if I didn't appreciate you all. So with that being said, my friends, would love to see you at movie night. Starts in literally 1 hour, I think. Yep, in 1 hour on the BOS Discord. Everybody that attends, obviously, gets rewarded with some Zeely XP. You might also be rewarded with some engage points. Because I've been handing that shit out like it's candy, because it's Halloween. Duh. All right, now we're just getting like very cringy and yeah, I'm trying to like the delusion is setting in because I'm super exhausted. All right, my friends, as always, we end these spaces off on a positive note. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Please get rest this weekend. You are going to need it. That is all I can say. Please get some rest this weekend. Go touch grass. Go be with your family, your friends, your animals, your pets. Go show everybody in your life some love. Lead with compassion. Move with love, as always. And I will catch you guys on the next space. And this approach of J.A. Chronic's away you say, hey. Okay. On the way. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I just go where the trade wind blows, sending love to my friends and foes. And I suppose I'm pleased to be clean in the destiny. To provide all my wants and needs. I got the sunshine, rivers and trees. Believe me. Hey. When me see Jah, me see a way. Drastically straight from hypocrisy, I say, hey. Every man to them own a philosophy. I live the proper way and let me read a chapter daily. One day in a city hungry and no eat. And food they down a country just a drop off of the tree there. You see, say poverty no real then. Much love, my friends. Take care, and I will catch you on the next one.